listed on that agenda. You've all seen it.
These are the policies that you brought up before. They have to be passed today because there's recent changes in the law relating to immigration enforcement response that went into effect January 1. And part of that new law required that changes be made in accordance with a model policy that was released by CDE just about a month ago. So that's why we have these changes that are before you now on all of these policies. They all relate to reflect those changes that happened in the law so that we're in compliance with the law. And they have to be in effect and adopted by the board prior to March 1st, which is why we're asking that the board adopt them without a second reading today. And just a kind of a brief summary of what those changes are. The recent changes create, first, the board policy 1445, which is the main one that talks about response to immigration enforcement, makes that policy applicable to both students and employees of FCSS. And so before it was just a student policy. Now it applies to both students and employees. It adds language reflecting new requirements relating to requests for records, notice requirements to both parents and employees when immigration enforcement officials are on sites. And then these updates are happening in conjunction with updates that are being made to superintendent administrative regulations relating to these same topics. So ask that you approve them.
Any questions?
When we approve this, like, what does that mean for, like, why are we as a board required to approve this, and what does it mean when it gets approved?
It just means that this agency's policies are in compliance with the law and the requirements set forth in the law regarding immigration enforcement and how our agency responds when there's immigration enforcement efforts at our sites.
And this is specifically for FCSS?
FCSS school sites and employment sites, yes. Correct.
And we're talking about state law in this case?
This reflects state law.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason why it wasn't under the prior item is because we had to vote on it today.
Correct.
Otherwise, it would have just been,
The reason is because there's a requirement that we have.
It would have been a board modification.
Or March 1st.
Right.
And so does that mean, like, other districts, they have to do their individual adoption of these policies as well?
They should be, yes.
Any other questions, comments? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Member Robles, second by Vice President Tapscott-Munson. Roll call vote, please.
President Matsumoto?
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott-Munson?
Yes.
Member Burton?
Yes.
Member Clyde?
Yes.
Member Robles?
Yes.
Thank you. Continuing on, consider ratification of issuance and cancellation of temporary certificates for November 125 through January 26.
Yes,
Mr. Parkin.
Before the board is a list of individuals who have been issued or have been canceled or their temporary have been issued temporary certificates, or those certificates have been canceled for the period of November 1st, 2025 through January 31st, 2026 for your ratification.
Quite a list. Any questions, comments? Is there a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Motion by Member Clyde, second by Member Burton. Roll call vote, please.
President Matsumoto?
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott-Munson?
Yes.
Member Burton?
Yes.
Member Clyde?
Yes.
Member Robles?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Continuing on, Mr. Parkin, action to complete California School Boards Association official 2026 delegate assembly ballots for County Delegate Region 10 and Subregion 10B.
Correct. Before the board are those two ballots. The one for the county delegate Region 10 and one for the sub-region 10B, Fresno County sub-region. For your consideration, the county delegate, there's only one candidate on the ballot, and you can vote for one. The other ballot, there are 4 candidates on the ballot, and you can vote for 3.
Should we be considering 2 different votes
Motion.
or one?
You certainly can, yeah.
It just seems to me to be easier to separate them.
Yep.
Okay, on the first ballot for the county representation, are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve the nomination?
Motion to approve, Dr.
You're actually making a motion to cast your vote for,
Right, to cast our vote for the nomination.
So a motion to cast our vote for Dr. Matsumoto.
Second.
Okay, motion by Member Burton, second by Vice President Tapscott Munson. Roll call, please.
President Matsumoto.
Yeah.
Vice President Tapscott Munson.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Yes.
Okay, let's consider the other ballot then.
Already in there. Great job.
The other ballot has, we can vote on up to 3 if we want. We don't have to. There are 4 candidates. Daryl Carter, Washington USD, James Hoke, Sierra USD, Connie or Constance or Connie Scheffler?
Schaffler. It's weird.
Also Sierra USD, and Mark Medina, Selma USD. I can attest that that Daryl Carter and Mark Medina have been active delegates at this time. I mean, they've been both very active and have done a good job.
And I know Connie, she's retired lieutenant colonel and an engineer,
Do we know?
and she's on Sierra board.
And she just got back on the trust.
Right,
Tuesday night.
right. She was on, then she just got back.
Yeah. And then one more name, what about James? Because we had asked.
Do you know anything about James Hoke?
He's up at Sierra too.
Right.
Yeah, and I think he's an electrician or something, and I remember that.
Painter.
I don't know anything, I've never talked to him. I know who he is, but I've never talked to him.
Yeah,
And I don't know if having 2 from the same district would be a good idea anyway.
Right.
well, sure, my thoughts are, do we,
their biographies are in the
their
materials.
biographies are in the thing. We can choose to vote for 1, 2, or 3 of the candidates. I guess part of me, not knowing
Would be to vote
the
for the 2.
Sierra people,
Well, I do know.
and it's representing districts, it's not representing counties, so, do we want to pick one over another, whether we know them or not? This is why, I guess, my
Well, I think that's a good question.
in Sierra.
Well, I think if the incumbents are doing it, I would support that.
The 2 incumbents,
Which is who?
which is Daryl Carter and Mark Medina.
But then you said Connie has experience and she's in Sierra. So how about those 3?
I would want to vote for Connie.
Yeah. So I think that might
So you
be
prefer to
Do all 3. Do 3.
the 3. Yeah. Daryl Carter. Mark
okay, so is there a motion as to who you'd like to vote on as nominee for this place?
I'd like to make a motion that we vote for trustee Daryl Carter, Constance Connie Key Sulfur, and if I'm sorry for the mispronunciation, and Mark Medina, trustee, I believe, and
Okay.
for the position for delegate assembly for 2026. for Fresno County.
Okay, so there, motion to vote on those three, Carter, Schleifer,
Shopper.
and Medina. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Member Clyde. Roll call vote, please.
President Masumoto.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. You're ready to bind? Yeah. Thank you. Administration, Dr. Kofer, would you like to bring up the next item of adoption of Resolution 2604?
Yes, thank you. Senate Bill 984 created Cesar Chavez Day of Service and Learning to promote service to the communities of California in honor of the life work of Cesar Chavez. Studies and activities pertaining to Cesar Chavez's life and historical contributions will help students to gain a better understanding of justice and democratic principles. Cesar Chavez dedicated his life to community service and aspired to improve the lives and meet the needs of migrant and seasonal farm workers and their families. Cesar Chavez inspired many educators who themselves worked as farm workers or came from farm working families to pursue public service while inspiring in others the values of public service, respect, and nonviolence values that parents and teachers seek to instill in their children. I'd also like to give a shout out to the Latino Roundtable. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to work with Professor Venancio Gayona and the other educators around the table. It was one of the very first meetings I held in my position 3.5 years ago, or rather invitations I accepted, and this was brought to our attention, and as such we now have an essay contest that goes with this, and every year to celebrate this Day of Service and Learning, I get a phone call of appreciation from the group. So just happy that this has been grounded from community response and request. So therefore, the Board of Education is invited to recognize March 31st as Cesar Chavez Day of Service and Learning to encourage all Fresno County districts to participate with appropriate activities and curriculum.
Thank you. Any questions, comments? There a motion to approve?
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay, sure.
I just am grateful that my father at age 17 marched with those when he found out we're working with him here in Fresno, how much they were being paid, and marched with them from the fields here in Fresno with Cesar Chavez at the age of 17. So my family and mother picked cotton, cut grapes, and so we come from the ag community as well, and that's what our foundation was built on. And I am so in agreement of this. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. And the reason why I'll second it, because my parents didn't, but I personally was out there in the fields working with these kids, and that's when I was a kid, when I was 17. And and actually, you know, I really got a kinship with them because I was only, you know, European looking guy, and that I was just, that's where I got my huge respect for their work ethic, huge respect. And I was able to save my money and go to Europe a couple times. They gave all the money to their family.
Yes.
And I thought, whoa. There's a life lesson.
Yeah. My mother, they worked 6 days out of the week. On the 7th day after church, if they worked, they could keep the money, but all the proceeds went to the family.
Yeah. And it was and I'm talking about a kid from Bullard who goes out there, and that was a culture shock.
Yeah.
But I hung out
Lived
all summer.
experiences.
Okay, I'd like to move on. So the motion by Vice President Tapscott Munson, second by Member Clyde. Roll call vote, please.
President Masumoto.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Yes.
Motion carries. Superintendent Kofer, please talk to us about Resolution 2026-05, March as Arts Education Month.
Yes, We'd like to proclaim the month of March as Arts Education Month and encourage all educational communities to celebrate the arts with meaningful student activities and programs that demonstrate learning and understanding in and through the arts. Just to be specific, arts education will include dance, media arts, music, theater, and visual arts, and we recognize that it's an essential part of basic education for all students, pre-kindergarten through grade 12, to provide a balanced learning and to develop the full potential of the minds of our students. That through well-planned instruction and activities in the arts, children develop initiative, creative ability, self-expression, self-reflection, thinking skills, discipline, greater social emotional well-being, a heightened appreciation of beauty, and cross-cultural understanding. And if I might tangent for just a moment, some of you know that I was invited to the Kennedy Center just 2 weeks ago to accompany Aaron Bryan and speak about our arts advocacy, because the state of California is fairly unique in what we do and how we do it. And we were able to talk specifically about students by name as we recognized the work of this office, specifically Micah, who loves his art in special education, and Evie Singh, who is our first ever poet laureate. So it's always fun to think about the work we do specific to the names and the backgrounds of specific students. So in honor of Evie and Micah and many, many, many other students that benefit from the arts, I'd like to invite you to proclaim the month of March 2026 as Arts Education Month and encourage all Fresno County School Districts to participate with appropriate activities and curriculum on this day and throughout the year.
Thank you. Comments, questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Member Burton, second by Member Clyde. Roll call vote, please.
President Masumoto?
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott-Munson?
Yes.
Member Burton?
Yes.
Member Clyde?
Yes.
Member Robles?
Yes.
Motion carries. There is no closed session today. Moving on to trustee activities, are there any travel requests?
As they go over to the wonderful travel package.
Those were requests that were approved already, that you're talking about.
Can I make a comment? Yeah.
Yes.
It's very important that we hold on to the receipts, even though your credit card statements have that, but we need both. So if you have parking receipts, try to keep them going. We'll do our very best for finance.
And you could take a picture of it just to keep it in your records.
Oh, that's helps.
Okay, I don't hear of any travel requests. Moving on to travel expense and reimbursements, are there any to be processed today? Okay, receipt of correspondence, anyone? Okay, we'll move on to comments by board members, and I'm choosing to start here because I want to thank all of you as well as the cabinet for participating in the board retreat that we had earlier this month. I hope you feel that it was valuable. I think that we had good discussion on many items, and I know that we said there were other things that we wanted to follow up on and pursue further and come to further decisions and consensus on. I know there's some homework that we're being done. I noticed today some of the homework is already done in terms of the room setup, but I would like to invite you in your comments to share any thoughts that you have. If you think we need to schedule a follow-up of any sort, if there's anything in particular that you liked or didn't like, I think we need to take that into consideration, which is why I wanted to bring it up first to allow you time to respond. Other in my report, I did attend the first meeting of the CSBA Legislative Committee, which was more kind of grounding and orientation about both the legislative processes as well as the function and plans for the legislative committee. It's also kind of why I brought up, and I know Brian's representing ACCBE, why I brought up the issue that if there are things that legislatively we collectively would like to support, we have multiple avenues to do that. Personally, or individually, we could do it through the CSBA role, we could do it through ACCBE as well. So I just wanted to report that. There was no action taken at that meeting that is reportable. And I think the only other thing to report on was, since our last meeting, we did have our County Trustees Association meeting, which was out in Clovis on a night that people were worried about if it was going to be too foggy, and it was a beautiful evening. And we heard from our Valley Children's Hospital representative, Lynn Ashbeck, just to share that, and that's all for my comments. So who would like to go? Anyone like to comment next?
I'll yield my time.
I'll say we had a wonderful time, and I was able to attend our African American Student Conference. It was a nice event. We had fog that morning, so some of our students were not able to attend and had difficulty with transportation, but those that were, it was a nice event. Venue changed, less number of students, but besides all of that, it was a nice event and a good time had by all. Guest speakers were nice, and the workshops and the students seemed to really enjoy it. Smaller group, which gave us a little more one-on-one time together to work through some fantastic team building projects. So it was really nice to see that happening with our students and all the guest speakers that were present. I'm getting ready to go to conference, and I just like to say again, because this is my second year making the same comment, during Black History Month, I would like to see an African American student in here being honored as the Student of the Month, but not taking anything away from the beautiful young lady that we had today. She's outstanding, but just because it is Black History Month, I would like to reiterate that for next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any comments about the board retreat that any of you would like to make?
Board retreat was really nice. The facilitator was fantastic. We were able to, I think, maybe answer or approach some questions and concerns we had. I would think we would need one. Maybe we should schedule it annually, biannually, quarterly. We can probably revisit that of how often we might need a refresher just for board development. Maybe twice a year. But it was nice. We had really good conversation.
Yeah, it was really good. Good conversation that was had. Good item to build on and continue on, I think, in the future. And yeah, the ACCBE, lots of letters there. Their legislative committee actually will meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. prior to the conference there in Modesto. And for those of you attending, if you come to our legislative session at 2:30, I've been, I call it conscripted to be one of the presenters. So one of the presenters pulled out because they're not going to be able to be there. So I've been asked to be one of the presenters there. So you'll get to see me for that. And yeah, congratulations here. Mock trial awards are on Monday.
Yeah.
We're really glad to be there because my good old alma mater, Clovis West, won mock trial. Over my wife teaches, so they did a great job, and lots of stuff going on. The good old CIF playoffs at Selland Arena one more time that the superintendent of schools is sponsoring or underwriting, whatever we're going to call it this year. Great items coming along. So lots of kids doing lots of competitions right now, and lots of state items coming around.
I gotta be there that early tomorrow. I've got a doctor's appointment. I can't leave too early.
Yeah.
Did we have the agenda yet? I know they kind of sent it, but have they?
I think at 5 o'clock. Yeah, I think they sent it today. 5 o'clock. There's I actually called the I called Debbie yesterday, although I'm not on their boards or anything, and said, I don't know if I received a full agenda, just sort of a partial, so maybe that kind of kicked them a little bit.
I could say in terms of the retreat, I think maybe when we submit the topics, maybe in the future it might be helpful to be able to maybe take a survey on the topics or maybe know a little more where the discussion kind of can go. And I think we didn't get the agenda per se, like much ahead of time on what would be discussed. I think it was like we submitted and kind of were hoping some of our topics would be on the agenda. And then too, just in terms of giving more time to discussing the board items would be nice. We got a lot of valuable information about our duties, and I think when I started, I got that training. So a lot of it was kind of like a refresher, and I think we did another training after that, so it was like not news to me, and we spent quite a bit of time on that. So I think in terms of being able to have discussions on some of the topics where we may not agree and giving it more time for those discussions. I think particularly myself, in being kind of discussing some of the topics, most of the ones I submitted were the ones that were on the agenda. But in terms of like meeting times, I did feel like, the superintendent was able to provide many reasons as to why moving our meeting times wouldn't work or be beneficial or, that opinion. And I think if we had that ahead of time, we could have provided maybe some differences of opinion or gathered some additional information to kind of refute some of that perspective.
Thanks for your feedback.
We, as what Eric Cedarquist said, it sounds like it's a future discussion item. And did you want to put it on future agenda items for discussion?
I think all the topics we talked about should be
okay.
for future discussion.
Well, you two set the agenda.
Well, no, it was
No. I'm talking about the board meetings.
Right. So that's what my question was going to be. So is it the will of this group to address each of those items that we didn't complete at one of these meetings? Do them one at a time, one next month, one the following month, one the following month? Do you want a separate time to finish up that conversation?
Maybe the one that might be more pressing would be maybe the board projects, because I know we had talked about maybe arranging it a little differently. So because our time is limited, maybe getting that over with so that we know when we select the project how that should look. So I think we have a committee, correct? But I think the committee can't change the amounts or make changes to how the money's allocated. Correct? We would have to vote on that. Yeah. So I think maybe that could be one of the first ones. And then in the future, we could talk about conference attendance, board meeting times, etc.
Okay. We'll work on those at the will of the board. Terrific. Okay. Thank you so much. Any other comments need to be made by board members? All right. On to superintendent's report.
Well, good meeting. It's always a privilege to have our smaller school district superintendents in our presence. They're so proud of their students, but every now and then we get to hear something like we heard today. Carruthers had the highest growth of test score improvement in the state of California. that's kind of buried a little bit, and so we had a chance to hear that. So
Carruthers or Raisin City? Sorry to interrupt.
Carruthers. I think it was Carruthers.
Raisin
It could be
City.
Speaking about Raisin City.
This is superintendent. Let me verify whether it's Raisin City. Both school districts are showing remarkable growth right now. And I can't quite recall whether it was Carruthers or Raisin City. And frankly, I think both of them might have had substantial growth. I'll get that for you because I know exactly where to find that. Anyways, we're excited about being able to have representation from our smaller school districts in our chambers. Again, great meeting today. We did our business of hearing about and supporting charter schools. We passed some policies, approved some policies. By the way, the policies that we voted on and approved today will be presented in 1 week's time to the 31 superintendents in our school districts. And we will have been able to say that we led with example, or led by example. We approved a construction project that will serve students in our community. And then we were fiscally responsible with the budget review and then recognition. So overall, good meeting today, very productive. In the month of February, there are lots of ways to measure student achievement, which is why this season is so exciting for our office. We sometimes refer to this as the season of excellence, with many, many student events that propel our youth from local to county and then state and even national achievements. Acadec is a prime example of that, held just a week or two ago. We have many, many, many student events. So in the upcoming month, mock trial awards, spell off, science Olympiad, science fair, career skills challenge, history day, and while it's not academic, CIF tournament, which is indeed 24 hours of courtside basketball excitement. I always enjoy it. Some key takeaways basically is that here at FCSS, we have a very clear vision of what it takes to improve the lives of children and families, and that we're very, very focused on the conditions that contribute to the success of our students. So with that, thank you to our board. Thank you, Kevin and Diane and Jason and Angela. And a message to our teachers during the season of excellence. Our teachers, our classified staff, our leaders at our school sites, thank you so very much during all this hustle and bustle, all this excitement for creating safe spaces for our children in our schools.
Thank you, Superintendent. Any questions of the Superintendent? All right. Future agenda items, I will put board project, which I think might even be on the agenda for the March meeting.
You don't remember if it's March or April.
I can't remember. Let's talk about it at the March meeting.
I thought it was May, but I'm not sure.
Well,
It might be.
Well, we'll get back to
But let's talk about it at the March meeting anyhow, as a follow-up to the retreat. Okay, and then the other items we'll schedule for the following meeting or two. Any other future agenda items to be added? Okay. Our next meeting is March 19th, right here. Is there a motion to adjourn today's meeting? Very so excited. We got a motion by member Clyde, second by member Burton. Roll call, please.
President Matsumoto.
Yes.
Vice President Tapscott Munson.
Yes.
Member Burton.
Yes.
Member Clyde.
Yes.
Member Robles.
Okay, here we go.
Hey.
Adjourned.